making for him is a copy of the world record smallmouth bass, which was Dale Hollow Lake in Kentucky, I think it was, or Tennessee, back in the 50s.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to start making a collection of world record pieces, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
That is cool to
and
set
I'll
up
see
like
I'll see if customers are interested in that. But
this
I
guy's
want
too
to do for
expensive
myself.
to talk to. I'm gonna.
Well, yeah, you set up your man cave with like the world record, whatever species that you like,
Yeah.
and you put a little plaque with, order separately a little plaque that like has the information on it. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
I'm staring at that tuna. Like I've never caught a tuna, but I want to buy that tuna. Like I want that tuna.
Bob, I want to make a deal with you right
cool
now. Let's not let Joe buy any fish that he didn't catch. He has to catch it.
Okay.
Everyone else can order whatever they want. Joe has to catch any fish that he wants to order.
Mike Herman continues his hot streak with Yellow Dog Paddle. He took the lead. Well, he's going to take the lead if they certify that bullhead. Bullhead catfish at 16.665. He continues his hot multi-species streak. I talked to him this morning as the weather is starting to get warmer and warmer. The smallmouth bass fishing is picking up. So starting to see a lot more pictures of smallmouth bass coming from Yellow Dog Paddle now. He's also still trolling Round Valley for lake trout, rainbow trout, brown trout. He's fishing Delaware River. He's going all over the place. He's red hot. I mean, he's just hot. He's mainly on MCRs where he's having most of his success currently.
Yeah, man.
And also currently, MCR is a pain in the ass to go fishing on your own. They have the cops down there patrolling, trying to give people. All right, I won't get you started, but maybe it's easier to just go with a guide there and have him deal with it because I don't even want to risk it.
I've been fishing that place for 15 years, and I'm about to call Mike to take me there because I don't want to deal with those guys.
Well, I'm being told now that I might drive my kids out all the way out there. I might not even be able to get a parking spot because there's a bass tournament. Like, oh, God. And then you're going to kick me off the lake 3 hours. Whatever. If you're looking to go fishing for salmonoids or smallmouth bass or any of those reservoir fish learning to troll, Yellow Dog Paddle has been on fire. We're not just saying that because he sponsors the podcast. I mean, if you look at his pictures, he's posting fish every single day.
Proof's in the pudding.
Huh?
The proof is in the pudding.
That's true. Proof's in the pudding. Check out Yellow Dog Paddle's page. Hello and welcome to episode number 58 of the NJ Multi-Species Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Santiago. As always, my partner, Chris Pereira.
That had some oomph to it.
Yeah, I want to go to bed. No, I just want to get it over with.
All right.
Yeah, there's the bobber mug, the famous bobber mug. So we had last week off for Memorial Day. We fished on Chuck Manny's boat for 4 days. Chris went tile fishing. What else did we do?
What else did we do? I went out lake trout jigging. It wasn't that good. Didn't mark too many fish. Caught one average size one. And I went night fishing. Didn't you go night fishing?
No.
You didn't?
Yeah, I don't know. It's been 2 weeks. I went the one time and with Jen and Ken. That was the last time I went.
Yeah, it's kind of it's still all right. It depends on the night, depending on the wind, which way the wind's blowing on Hopakong. You get weedy mess on certain parts of the lake, but it's still good. It's still happening. It won't as you get into the summer though. It gets really tough. I mean,
oh yeah, it gets well. it switches over from walleye more to hybrids, and the hybrids miss lures a lot more often. I think that's what makes it tougher. I think the walleye are easier to catch because they don't miss as much. Also, as the heat increases, the number of bait at the surface picks up, which just makes your lure more and more of a needle in the haystack. But, yeah, you kind of have to keep fishing it. I mean, you can't fish till it's over. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just the late phase now, and you have to deal with the weeds that the boat props are chopping up. Good fishing. I mean, everywhere else, the smallmouth fishing's been phenomenal. Yellow dog paddle, they had almost a 17-inch bullhead catfish. It was like 16.65. That's going to take skillful angler leaderboard. Saturday, the yellow dog paddle had a 29-inch lake trout. Sunday, they had a 6-pound smallmouth. Today, they had another 23-inch salmon. So the fishing for yellow dog paddle continues to be really good. Eddie Mackin's pan fishing. He caught a sunfish yesterday that was almost 1 pound, a giant sunfish.
really? I missed that one. I didn't see that.
He took second place in the panfish contest.
So that was during the contest?
Yeah, he caught that the sunfish during the contest. He took second place. Knee Deep's panfish contest was yesterday.
You got the results?
I could pull the results up. I know Eddie came in second. What else did we have? I have a bunch of other stuff. Fishing reports. What do you have, Chris? No other fishing reports? Oh, Chris Lido, the gambler. The gambler went out Saturday. They had 12 keeper fluke. Sunday they had 19 keeper fluke. They did the first night wreck fishing trip. They had a lot of squids and bluefish in the lights. But he said only a handful of ling, and he said the trip was actually pretty disappointing. So that night fishing trip didn't do well. So Chris is hoping to get back on that good. The tile fishing continues to be good. Chris, you went out tile fishing, but if you're looking to get on a tile fishing boat, the Gambler is still doing tile trips, and they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, I mean I haven't gone tile fishing a lot. I've just kind of seen it over the years, and I've gone once or twice with my buddy. So I have never really looked into it, but from what I've seen over the years, this is a pretty hot bite right now with the tile fish. And yeah, my buddy Chris invited us out of the blue there, kind of last minute. He decided he wanted to go out there, and you couldn't make it, so Max came with me, and it was phenomenal. I mean, there was a couple of drifts. Basically, you've never tile fished, right?
No.
You've never gone offshore. You're scared of it. I forgot.
Sure.
So yeah, you go out there. Obviously, you can't anchor because I mean it's 400, 500, 600 foot deep, depending what spot you're going. You're all the way out in the canyon there. I don't know if at times of the year you can find them in other places shallower. To my knowledge, you can't. That's kind of the deal. They're down deep in these this like clay bottom. And again, I'm just going off of someone's listening to this and is a master tile fisherman. Feel free to correct me. I'm just kind of going off what I'm learning right now. But yeah, we went out there. We were fishing like 400, 450 feet. And there was a couple of drifts. You drift, right? And there was a couple of drifts where the four of us had drop and reel fishing at times. And I mean, we were able to limit out the boat in a couple of hours, couple of drifts didn't produce as well. We spent a lot of the day looking for some tuna as well. Not a lot, but a couple of hours. There was a lot of life out there, a lot of mammal life, birds, but couldn't lock in on any tuna. But
yeah, the sea bass fish, so tile fishing, yeah, if you're interested in doing that, the Gambler continues to do it. And Chris says it's very good eating too, right?
Oh yeah, dude, they're so delicious. If anyone hasn't had them, I mean, I don't think you're supposed to eat a ton of them. You know, what did this probably say like twice a week for or 3 times for the month or one of those. It's one of those
Yeah.
semi restricted fish, I think. But oh my god, it's so delicious, dude. And
Sea
the-
bass fit. Sea bass fishing seems like it went from like it was came out red hot. Now it seems to be very spotty. Like one day it's great, next day it sucks.
yeah,
Pastorino seems to be continuing to destroy them, but I've
you
seen
can't.
some other boats have struggles.
Yeah, you can't base it off of him, but
Yeah, he has, yeah, he's an
yeah,
anomaly.
it's kind of like how the season goes every year. I feel like starts off really good, and then the popular spots, the most obvious spots, kind of get cleaned out, and then guys like Pastorino who have an infinite amount of spots in their back pocket, they can keep plucking away at them. But the guys that other guys run out of spots, I guess. But the fluke fishing's picking up anyway. But just real quick, I want to touch on with the tile fish because I thought this was really cool. And again, I don't know if this is something fairly new to that fishery, but we saw like a lot of guys were using big tuna jigs for the tile fish. And typically you're fishing that deep, you're putting on like a 2-pound lead sinker on your bottom fishing rig. And so we tried out this like the jigging for them, and I set up. I just took one of my. I took like a Penn Fathom that I got like 50% off when they had that sale, and I put on like a $60 Shimano bottom fishing rod. Sorry, like nothing special. Went down to the Sporting Life, got a 500 yards of 30-pound braid, like a thinner braid. Spooled the whole thing up full. It fit like 450 yards, which was
What size pen? What size battle?
no a Penn Fathom conventional.
Oh, a fathom. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I threw that setup together based off of what my buddy told me.
Did you buy a Penn Fathom?
I had it from when Penn had that giant 50% off sale.
Oh, I got you.
So I got it for half off.
That's a really good reel.
Yeah, it's like it was like my backup bottom fishing reel. So I'm like, it had 50-pound braid on it. So I took it off with a drill, wrapped it onto another spool, filled it up with 30, so that it was a thinner braid, so I could keep it down there better in that deep of water. And I had my buddy got us each like a 420-gram tuna jig, like a knife jig, just a straight, And yeah, I put the video. I just slathered the thing up with lip glue and put like a piece of like bluefish, like a sliver of bluefish skin on the hook, and dropped it down there, just jigged it off the bottom, and they were slamming it on a couple of drifts. It was awesome. And it's just more fun to fight a fish when you don't have a 2-pound lead sinker hanging off the other side of the fish, to me.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool.
So yeah, freshwater. Kevin Glenn, he had a bass tournament on Lake Parsippany. Seems like everyone that entered that tournament caught fish. Seemed like the board that he sent us was pretty loaded. Like every boat had their 5-fish bag.
Oh, really?
So it looks like they had a fun day. Maybe next time I'll do that. I know Kevin's tournaments are like limited to 20 parking spots, so if you ever want to fish in one of those, you have to enter it fairly quickly. But I know Kronk was there. I think Jen's son was in it, right? And I think even Steve Signal 11. I think a lot of people were there. It seemed cool.
Yeah, guys jumped in on that. I thought about it, but
I thought about it too. I was tired. We fished with Chuck Manny for 4 days. It was unbelievable. Got to switch in and out crews. Got to get a few different guys on. It was unbelievable. He's an unbelievable person. Just he's amazing, that guy. Fishing and as a person, just he's a great guy. Every day was just a blast from the time you got there till the time you left. It was unbelievable. And the fishing if you think that he just looks legendary on the computer, what actually goes on in person, it's even crazier than it looks. It's indescribable.
And you know what's funny to me is, like you kind of said, he makes it look so easy. Like it looks like you guys will see his post and be like, oh yeah, he's trolling with live eels. Anyone can do that. Like, look at all the fish that are just jumping into the boat. Like, and they think, and it's like, oh, it's easy. Let me tell you something. I've fished for striped bass and most every other species we have in an 8-hour driving vicinity. I've fished for them probably almost just about any way you can. For stripe, I've thrown all kinds of lures for stripers, used all kinds of bait, anchored, drifting, clam, sandworms, eels, thrown shads, thrown spoons, thrown AV-47, like everything. And it top water. I've done it. I've done it all. I'm not saying that to be like, oh, I've mastered everything. I haven't mastered anything, but I've done it all. I've dabbled in all of it. And I can tell you right now, and I know you'll agree, Joe, because you experienced it, like running the spread on the tie man is harder than any other kind of fish. Like, no, it's not easier to troll a 10-rod spread with eels all at different depths without tangling anything and get it out quick and all that stuff. No, that's not easier than casting a jerk bait or a shad or a spoon and jigging it or reeling it in. It's not.
No, I think it definitely has its place. If you are looking for a cooler full, this is not your game. I mean, he's ocean fishing for giant stripers. They're not keepers. In the 4 days, we probably boated somewhere near 100. And there was not one keeper. I mean, there wasn't even one within 10 inches of a keeper. That's just not the game. If you want to go inshore in the bay and throw shads for 28-inch fish for the cooler, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a totally different game.
No, of course not. But what I'm saying is, guys are seeing this and acting like, oh, it's easy. If I went and bought eels and some boards, I go out in there and do this.
Well, then go do it. I mean, go do it then. Don't say it. Go do it.
But my point is,
I was noticing on the boat, like, we were driving past boats that were copying what he does, and we were hooked up with 3 fish fighting as they went by empty. Like, it didn't matter. He's still Chuck Manny. You could try to imitate him, but you're not going to be him anyway. That's why he doesn't give a shit. It's just not happening.
Dude, I mean, we've been with him now. I think I went once or twice more than you did, but what, like 5, 6, 7 times at this point over the last 2 seasons?
Yeah.
And I've watched everything he does. Like, I've tried to learn like as much as I can. And if he came up to me and he said, here's the keys to my boat, all the equipment's on there, here's all the eels you'll need, go ahead, go out there and do it. Would I catch some? Yeah. Would I catch them like that? No fucking chance.
But the other thing that impressed me when because I was talking to him a lot, and he's paying so much attention to the nature around him. I mean, we know the strategy of trolling eels, but now he's looking at the tide. He's looking at which way this is moving, which way the water's going, what the moon is making things do. He'll only do things in a certain direction. If he's not like feeling that like it's the right speed, he'll move, and it's just so there's a lot more complexity to it than you would think. And like Chris said, it's so many lines out. One thing goes wrong. I mean, you could have 4 giant stripers on, and now these rods are tangled up. So what he does is you can do it, but to say it's easy, believe me, it's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Except for the guys claiming that they can't catch keepers doing it. so that's why.
Saturday when we were out, that was the Highmar striper tournament. The guy who won first place with the Highmar striper tournament won with 97 inches, 2 fish.
I didn't even think it was that high. I thought it was lower than that. It was 90 something, but
I thought it was 97, whatever it was. We had a 51 and a 49. Like, we had 100. We would have won that. And Chuck
would have won it. You would have just been on the boat.
Chuck would have tipped me like $100 or something for being good looking. But Chuck, are we in the contest? Nah, I won it 7 years in a row. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, he's like, I retired from that.
Yeah, it's like talking to Wayne Gretzky. When they call him the GOAT, he really is the GOAT. Like, oh, yeah, I won it 7 times already. It's only $10,000. I'm not doing it.
All right, well, this is the whole episode is not you like rubbing down Chuck Manny's ego. I mean, he's probably, if he's listening to this, he's turning red. But
he's not.
I just want to.
He was red before he turned this on anyway.
Yeah, I know. But I just want to say, for anyone listening that is interested in like learning about this, we've had Chuck on in the past, but we hadn't fished with him at that point. And so it was an interesting episode, but we didn't really know.
We had him on fairly early too in the podcast when we only had like 7 followers. So
yeah, well, all right. So anyway, my point is, we've got Chuck coming back on later this month, the week of June 17th. So we're gonna record June 17th. If anyone has any kind of questions they want to ask him or anything, then that episode's gonna go up that Friday.
And no, he won't 21st. Take you fishing. Don't send me 8,000 emails asking me if he'll take you fishing. He won't. No,
but what he is we're gonna get more into the tactics that he uses. He doesn't have any secrets. He literally he'll like try to explain everything he does pretty much to the point where, we'll go over the equipment, we'll go over like what to do in certain situations, what we did. I mean, if you tune in for that episode and you're interested in trophy striped bass fishing, I mean, that's going to be your step on point. I mean, if you want to learn how to do that.
We also have YouTube videos that you could just watch that are right from the deck of the boat.
Oh, yeah. That coupled with it, I mean.
But, yeah, it was a great week. A lot of fun, a lot of laughing, a lot of dancing, a lot of singing. Jerry Zagorski, NJFishing.com, he got to come. It was awesome to see him. He broke his personal best ever, so he was happy as hell. Jen Wan fished a couple days. Katie fished. I think she caught her best one ever. There's a really cool picture of the 3 of us holding a monster fish that Katie caught.
Yeah, Nick 4 Massa, of us. You just pretend Nick didn't come?
Well, Nick came, but I was just mentioning Nick. I don't think Nick was in that picture. He might have been.
I think he was.
Yeah, he might have been. Pop it up right here, right now. So whatever.
Okay.
So it was a fun week, and it was a really good vacation off. A lot of stuff on the computer right now is going like insane. We're trying to keep up with everything. Tonight's discussion we're going to talk about that's pretty interesting is taxidermy, and we're going to talk about the skin mount versus an artificial replica. And I know Chris is dead. Are you all right?
Dude, I'm good for one like 20-second drop off every time we do this.
How much did you miss?
About 20 seconds worth.
All right, so I was saying tonight's episode we're going to discuss taxidermy with fish. Eddie Mackin from Mackin's Fishing Lips Ripping Trips. I totally fucked that up so bad. Eddie Mackin from Mackin's Ripping Lips Fishing Trips. He continues to be on fire, too. The king of Lake Apacon. Second place in the panfish contest with a 1-pound sunny. Now, that's my kind of guy right there. Love panfish. Said he had almost 100 crappies to the boat. Big hybrids coming up. Mackin has become a content creator, posting just as many reels as us. Hybrids, walleye, everything is still there. He's starting to get some smallmouth bass now too. He still, unfortunately, is stricken with the curse. He cannot leave that body of water. But if you want to fish Lake Apacon, he is the man. Call Eddie Mackin today, immediately. And now also his pontoon boat's ready. So he is doing pontoon boat trips.
And his curse of being trapped on Lake Hopatcong for his entire life, his curse is his customer's gain, because he knows that place like the back of his hand.
Yeah, it's true. He just can't leave.
Hey, so works out for everyone else.
If you're looking to check out Lake Apacon, give Eddie Mackin a look. The king of Lake Apacon, as he's known. We have a taxidermist coming on, Robert Kennedy from.
How about that timing?
Well, he's not on yet. He's going to be on.
Give us 1 second, Bob.
Oh,
can you hear us?
We're going to talk about skin mounts versus the new wave of replica mounts, where you can now release your fish and still have a mount of it made. So I'm going to bring in Robert Kennedy, New Jersey taxidermist. Robert, what's your business called?
Robert Kennedy Taxidermy, or I have a few different names for Facebook. Robert Kennedy Fish Reproductions.
Now, you only do reproductions.
I do only reproductions. So the whole taxidermy scale of doing items, I don't do any birds. I don't do any deer. I don't do any mammal work. I'm doing just fish. Now, in the fish world, I'm doing just reproductions.
Okay. So that, like, just to get right into this, I'm out fishing. I catch a nice fish, and maybe 2 weeks later, I decide that I want to have a repo made of that fish. What do I have to make sure that I get?
Length of the fish and girth is nice, and a good photo. But people still show up or ask, and they don't have any information. They just show me a picture of a walleye. And how they don't even know how long the fish is or the girth, so I have to do a guess. But I've done so many fish, I can have a good guess. And if I'm going to guess, I might guess a little bit larger also.
Where do you actually measure the girth of the fish at its biggest
at the thickest point? The dorsal fin right through the belly. Okay. But a lot of guys don't have a tape, like a cloth tape measure on them, so they're giving me half the measurement. So if it's a 20-inch girth, they're telling me 9-10 inches.
Yeah. So, and that brings me to another. So obviously, you're going to want to make this replica mount as close as possible to the actual fish. Yes. And that measurement's obviously going to go a long way. So I actually had a replica mount made of the first 50-inch muskie. Well, the only 50-inch muskie I've caught in New Jersey. Okay. And I had it done by a guy down in Florida. He was my buddy down there knew him, recommended him, gave me a great price, shipping included and everything. The mount came out great, but I got to say, like, the fish it wasn't the exact fish, right? So, for example, one of the fins on the fish I caught, and you can see it in the picture, it's like it has a slice down the middle, like it's missing a piece of its fin. Do you or other replica makers, do you go into that much detail, or is it just too much, like, extra?
Well, I like to customize everything a little bit. The colors are definitely kind of custom, but every year I get a customer with a picture of a steelhead, a king salmon, a laker with a lamprey mark on it. And I always end up calling them back up. I said, do you want the lamprey on there? And most of them do. It's different. It's unique for their fish.
Absolutely.
So if the fish has a slice in its tail, I will ask the customer, do you want the slice in the tail? And again, most of them say yes, because that's their fish.
Yeah, I think this guy was really busy, I think, and he didn't ask me. And I would have liked to have that, like, missing piece of the fin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
that's what the fish had.
I know to ask, because I've done it before where I didn't put the lamprey in it, and I didn't put that certain mark in it. And then the customer comes to pick the fish up or something, and they say, oh, where's that mark?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way. to ask customers what they want.
What is the turnaround time like on a
Right now, maybe 4 to 5 months tops.
That's a lot faster than a skin mount.
Yeah, well, this is all I do is fish, so I'm not getting bogged down by, deer heads and stuff like that.
And this is what you do at full time?
This is my full-time job, sure.
Now, what if I never even caught, let's say I never caught a mahi-mahi, but I wanted to buy one. Would you sell me one?
Yeah, I get that all the time. Some people just want decoration.
Yeah, what do you think? He's like the fish police, Joe? Like, oh no, you didn't catch this.
No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Listen, I have fish mounts, but I only have skin mounts. I've never bought one of these. I don't really know that much about them.
That brown trout hanging up behind you, that's a skin mount?
No, they're all reproduction.
No, to Joe. I'm talking to Joe. Sorry.
It's a skin mount, but the head is fake.
Right.
It's got a fake head, but the skin's real.
I think that's how they always do them.
Well, what's interesting is, years ago when you go to a trade show, I needed customers who had a fish in their freezer or people who were going to catch a fish. But now all I need is a picture in your phone. And if I go to a trade show, people are showing me pictures of fish on their phone all day. So the market is much bigger, I think, for the reproductions. And people tell their brother about me, their friend, and I get phone calls from Maine, Florida, Texas. So they don't have to be a local customer.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on. You have like a good way to ship it and all that. Because I remember mine came in like this like framed out wooden box with like cardboard wrapped around and all this kind of packing. And it was heavy, but it wasn't. You know what? It wasn't that heavy though. It wasn't that heavy, and it came, and it was nothing was broken. It's
well, you mentioned shipping, and when customers ask me a question, that's going to be a TikTok video, whatever they're asking me. And I will be making a video in the next week or so. I'm going to take a fish, maybe a 20-inch rainbow trout. I'm going to pack it on camera. Then with a hockey stick, I'm going to take it over to the park, and I'm going to hit it, maybe about 100 yards out and around a big tree and come back. This is all going to be time-lapse, so it's going to be pretty fast. So I'll spend a half hour making this thing, but it's all going to boil down to about a 30-second video. Then we're going to open up the box, take the fish out, and put it on a tripod so people can see it. So yes, I ship fish all the time, and they don't get broken. I use bubble pack, bubble wrap. I pack them as solid as I can. The box is almost bulbous. It's really packed hard and solid.
You got a good TikTok account? Joe loves TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok.
So, yes, you do, Joe.
Yeah, okay. We do have TikTok. I don't love it, but we have.
You love it.
How does the price compare to a skin mount? Because I know skin mounts have gone up ridiculously expensive now.
Yeah, I'm charging basically two prices. $325 with 40 inches or smaller, and $395, for 40 inches or bigger. Meaning striper stuff. Once we get into the sharks, it's a bit big, a bit.
$320 for 40 inches and under? That's really cheap.
Yeah, if it's like up, I started this in the Salmon River area. Any fish 40 inches or smaller is $325.
So my 25-inch brown trout, you'd do that for $325?
Yeah. It just kept things simpler. One simple price.
I love you.
That's the best price I've ever heard for any of these mounts.
Yeah, it's the best price I've ever heard. I'm going to store you in my phone. I like you now.
That's what I do. And those bigger salmon and the stripers, they're going to be $395.
What if it's 41 inches and I squeeze it down a little bit?
I'm a little flexible there.
Well, Joe, nobody knows us. If you want your fish to be an inch shorter, he'll make it an inch shorter to save you money.
Unfortunately, I think every salmon I was doing in New York all became 40 inches.
Oh my God, dude!
I wasn't getting anywhere 37 inches or 38 inches or 39.
I'm being serious. Like, I'm not even kidding. If you would do a 40-inch king salmon for $325, I'll take one right now. Like, start making it.
We'll have to put you on the list.
Okay.
Hold
All
on,
right.
Bob. Let's make him catch it first.
Bob,
Yeah,
I think you underpriced yourself here. Those mounts behind you look pretty nice.
I'm not too concerned about whether you caught it or not. I mean, occasionally I have a customer come in here and say, I need 4 or 5 fish for my beach house. I want a striper, a mahi, give me a blackfish. And whether they caught them or not, I don't even ask. It's just decoration.
I get that.
And it's only, they're one-sided, right? The other side is like not painted.
Yeah, let me just grab one.
No, it hangs against the wall, Joe. There's nothing on.
No, I know, but like on these, like the other side is,
This is
it's
the back of the fish. Here's the show side. The
Yeah.
peacock bass.
that's cool.
Yeah.
The back.
I could buy that.
Yeah,
Pretend
another block of wood. Nice hanger. Ready to go. All my fish I put on a piece of wood. They're just easier to ship, and they're protected in the mail or in the UPS that way.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. I'm like fascinated. The thing that's cool to me about this is like I look at my mounts and like the fish is dead, like here I caught the fish, but it's dead. Like looking up at a mount now and saying, "Oh, I caught this fish, but I let it go." Like it's still out there. Like that's really cool. Like I'd like to have one of these.
I had 2 customers today. I met them at the Edison show, and they ordered a snapper and a rooster tail. They were fishing down in Panama.
Wow.
But the one guy, he gave me a photograph of the rooster tail, which I don't get too many photographs anymore. People text me pictures.
Oh, okay. So he handed you an actual physical photograph.
Yeah. He handed me a photograph. I pinned it up on the wall. I kind of got rid of my photo board about 2 years ago. I used to hang up all my customers' pictures up there, but I haven't gotten one in a year or so. Then he wrote me a check for a deposit. Usually it's give me a card number, a Venmo. So, but
this guy was real old school.
Whatever it takes to get it, right?
So how do you go through this process? Do you have a website? I go on the website and I just input what I want, or is it like email?
Well, I was happy with Facebook and my email account, but it's been getting pretty busy. So the new website is half done.
Okay.
Where people can enter in what they want to order.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
so you have a website.
I have a young guy who works for me sometimes, and he said people don't want to talk to people anymore. They want a place to order. And I said I value a conversation. I want to talk to every person who orders something.
Yeah.
Because I want to ask more questions about the fish.
Yeah, you know what? Unfortunately, he's probably right in a lot of situations, in a lot of scenarios. But yeah, but like you just said, I mean, I think like I want to talk to someone if I'm going to buy something as substantial as
you do.
a copy of a fish that I thought was memorable enough that I wanted to hang it up as a replica in my house. Like I want to talk to the guy who's going to do it,
which is custom. It's not all generic.
Right.
I mean, I don't have 100 largemouth bass all stacked up here ready to go. They're all going to be different.
We don't want those anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You could use those as firewood. Or just burn the largemouth bass.
But like I said,
again with the largemouth.
It's interesting because at a show, every customer who walks past me has fish in their phone.
Oh, of course. They all do, and they all want to show them.
They're all potential customers, which is cool.
And that's probably different than back in the day. How long did you say you've been doing this?
35, 40 years.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So back then, obviously, people weren't walking around with pictures on their phones because they didn't have them. Were they? And if they are going to an outdoor show, they're not necessarily thinking about, I hope there's a taxidermist there, so I'm going to bring these pictures. Like they don't even have them with them. So
they don't. Which was neat. I met a guy. He caught a fish about 30 something years ago, and he had a picture on his phone of a picture. It was like a 22-inch brook trout he caught when he was like 16 years old. And they couldn't afford to have it done, he said, and they ate the fish. But after like 35 years, he finally ordered one. It was very, very emotional for him.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
and if you take the time to make that fish exactly what he had, like if there's something on it that it had this disfiguration here, and you put that into the mount, I mean that's so cool.
Yeah.
Now, when that guy looks up at his mount, he says, "Yep, I ate that fish. He ate it." I mean,
but he said
cool.
they didn't have any money to have the fish mounted, but 30 years later, he had some money. And
I mean, realistically, in the market, like I said, I have skin mounts. I like taxidermy. But I mean, most people are looking for like $28 an inch now, 30. That's like the going rate.
Yeah,
you're talking about like you're buying, like you're putting down a down payment on a car now to get a fish mounted. It's nuts. Like this is like more reasonable. They probably last longer because these things do fall apart. They start to smell.
Oh, really? Do they?
If you have, like I have a walleye mount that has a real head. It's not a fake head. It's a real walleye head. It starts to smell. Yeah.
Oh my God, that sucks.
Yeah. This is cool.
I get the appeal of having the actual fish, I guess, but this is so much cooler. The replica. I mean, it's less expensive. It's less. You don't have to like. I mean, if you want to get a skin mount, don't you have to like wrap the fish immediately in like a wet towel and like keep it preserved till you could get it?
To be annoying.
And the customers have to come here, so your radius of customers is 40, 50 miles type of thing.
Yeah, because you could ship these anywhere in the country, right?
Yeah, with the combination of TikTok videos and Facebook postings. And the reproductions, I have customers all over the country. So your market, just business-wise, it's just huge.
How long do you think it takes you to actually work on one? Like if you had a 20-inch, just like a 20-inch brown trout, like how many man hours is that from start to finish?
Hopefully 8 hours or less.
Okay. Is it like an airbrush that you use?
All the above. Now, as far as size goes, I don't buy a piece or make a fiberglass mold. I cut these things out with a CNC machine.
So you actually cut them custom with a CNC laser?
Yeah. So size. I don't have any molds. So everything I have more of a digital copy.
Okay, because I know a lot of people that do this. They just order a mold of the fish.
Yeah, and it's going to cost them $300 for the
Okay, now I understand why he's so cheap, because he has a plasma cutter and he could make them himself.
I can make whatever I want. And I made one customer the copy of the world record largemouth bass, which is pretty cool, 27 inches. And the next project
that's actually cool, yeah.
I'm making for him is a copy of the world record smallmouth bass, which was Dale Hollow Lake in Kentucky, I think it was, or Tennessee, back in the 50s.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to start making a collection of world record pieces, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
That is cool to
and
set
I'll
up
see
like
if customers are interested in that, but
this
I want
too
to do for
expensive
myself.
to talk to. I'm gonna.
You set up your man cave with like the world record, whatever species that you like, and you put a little plaque with order separately a little plaque that like has the information on it. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
I'm staring at that tuna. Like I've never caught a tuna, but I want to buy that tuna. Like I want that tuna.
Bob, I want to make a deal with you right
cool
now. Let's not let Joe buy any fish that he didn't catch. He has to catch it.
Okay.
Everyone else can order whatever they want. Joe has to catch any fish that he wants to order.
Well,
Bob, what kind of tuna is that right there?
A bluefin or a yellowfin, excuse me.
And how big is that?
Probably 50 inches.
Right,
I did a smaller one for myself because I don't want a 7-footer here in the showroom.
Yeah.
And I can't bring it to a show. It just hogs my whole booth. So,
no, I'd love something just like Chris. I want to catch one just like that and get one of those.
Yeah, that shouldn't be that's not a huge tuna. And that's something big enough you can catch that thing and bring it home and eat it.
Yeah.
Or you and your friend and your brother can chop it up and eat the whole thing. Where if you caught a 600-pounder, that's a little too much.
The captain has to have a commercial license to keep one of those.
Yeah.
hold on. I lost my train of thought for a second. Yeah. So I was actually, I think I mentioned this to you on the phone. My girlfriend Katie, she caught her first muskie not that long ago, and it was just this real gorgeous patterned tiger muskie. I think it was 45 inches long. So I seriously may put in an order for you because I think she'd really love to have that fish mounted, and your prices are just,
And
I mean, they're awesome.
And if you have if you have a good photo, it just makes it easier.
We have a couple of photos, video. I don't know if video helps you see different parts of the fish or the shape of it, or
not a photo of the fish, a photo of the girlfriend.
Oh yeah, I got a couple of those too. She's behind the fish.
There you go. I'm just busting your chops, but yeah, a good photo it makes it easier.
Yeah. That would be a really cool thing. And it was if it's over 40, what was the price?
$325.
Oh, sorry, cut out. Joe talked over you. What'd you say?
Well, how big was the fish?
It's over 40. I think it was 45. I got to check.
$350.
That's unbeatable. I mean, I'm putting in an order as soon as we're done with this episode.
All right.
I paid more for one of her for a birthday gift or whatever it was. I paid more than that, and it's probably something useless.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Well, is there a birthday coming up or a special event?
I don't know. I don't care. I'm gonna put something will come up. I'm gonna put the order in so that because you said it takes 4 or 5 months sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you got the other orders, obviously.
Have you ever done any steelhead?
Oh yeah, a ton of steelheads from New York. Yeah, sure.
Oh God, I could get a steelhead mount without killing it. Oh, I got
He's gonna go grab one. Bring anything you want to show off. Just bring it over. Let's take a look.
Nice steely.
Chrome. Look at that chrome, Joe.
I know.
All right, don't put it too close to the camera. Joe's going to get overly excited. He's going to knock over his laptop.
This is up to guy in New York. Wiggly worm.
Well, what's the one behind? Is that a coho salmon?
Yeah.
The red one?
Up here? Yeah, coho. Yeah. Yeah. In the fall time, all I'm doing is king salmon, coho, steelies, and browns. And striped.
It's so cool. One more thing, I want to bring this up. I didn't know what you thought about this. So 2 weeks ago, because we didn't do an episode last week, we mentioned that you were coming on a taxidermist that did replica mounts, and someone was very adamant to us that you are not a taxidermist because you don't do skin mounts. You're an artist or a replica creator, but not a taxidermist. Yeah. And I said to him, look, I mean, I don't know, but I've seen all the guys who make fish replica mounts are called taxidermists that I've seen.
Yeah, well, it's potato. I don't care as long as they place an order.
I mean, you're definitely an artist, though, and I mean a craftsman.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, here. This is just here's a piece. I entered this for the Jersey trout stamp, which I didn't get chosen, but that's pretty cool.
Is that a paint? Is that a painting?
Yeah, it's a painting.
Like oil painting, or
this was an airbrush painting.
Oh, wow!
Cool.
So
nice, like a brook trout. It's tough to see. It looks like a brook. It's a brook trout from shot from above. With
yeah. Nice. So I do a little artwork.
This is all artwork. It's beautiful art. I mean, look, I'm looking at that fluke. Oh man.
Oh, Joe, cool too. I was going to say something.
Should I get that monster fluke that I caught all those years ago?
I hope my wife doesn't watch this episode. Robert, I want to thank you so much for coming on, taking your time. I know you're a very busy man.
Yeah,
you're about to be more busy now, Bob. With those,
you're going to get more busy.
You guys hear this?
Yeah.
One more time before you go, what is the best way to get in touch with you if someone wants to get one of these?
Well, they're welcome to call me. My phone number 908-281-5600. 5884, or they can email me at kennedytaxidermy@gmail.com.
And obviously, you have a Facebook page.
Yeah, which is Robert Kennedy's Fish Reproductions.
Awesome. Robert, thank you so much, man.
And I do a lot of TikTok videos, so I'm always posting the latest piece I did. So I'm trying to do 2 or 3 a week.
And do you have some of the techniques in those videos too? Because I think it'd be really cool. Obviously, we can't do that here, and talking about how you do it is kind of lame.
Most of my videos are finished fish, but some of the best responses I got are just me carving a fish body. You know,
Yeah,
I foam with an apron and a sharp knife and just carving a body.
What is it? I don't want to restart the whole episode, but now I'm curious because I'm a sheet metal worker, so I work with a CNC plasma and laser all day too. What is the actual material that it's using to cut? Like it's
foam. Foam.
Oh, it's just foam, like a hard foam, and then you paint the foam.
Yeah, we sand it, we put the fins on, we paint, we wrap it with material to smooth things out. So
okay, all right.
See, this is awesome because, and Joe, I don't know if you know this, but I know this because of the mount that I got, the muskie mount.
Yeah.
That guy down in Florida, he has the molds. He makes the molds, and he actually rents the molds out all over to these other guys who are making replica mounts. And Bob doesn't have to deal with any of that. And one, it makes it less expensive from his prices, as you can see. Right. But two, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, but you can customize every thickness of the fish. So if I caught a muskie with an extra large gut, like this guy, most of these other guys, they got a mold.
It's a generic mold.
Have that extra like stomach hanging down that I want in.
This striper up here on the top left, it's very, very gutty.
Yeah.
Very big gut on this guy. Up there.
A little higher. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a fat striper.
Right. So, Joe, if another replica mount maker doesn't have this process that Bob could do, and they have to rent out a striper mold of whatever size the customer wants that they caught, they need to like add and sand and do all this. It probably takes hours longer to make it with a fatter stomach. Bob, it sounds like you can just customize that right from the start.
Yes, but every fish that I do started off with a dead fish on a workbench where a mold was made of this and a master mold was made, and I made a master positive copy, which I can scan that thing. Now I have a digital model.
And that's why the fish all look exactly like what they're supposed to look like.
That's the starting point. So yes, I still have a few hundred castings of fish that I use to make models off of.
That's amazing.
I got it, Joe. Did you ever see? I hope I could find this picture because I want to throw it up here. A couple of years ago, a guy caught a really big blackfish, Tog, and he got this mount made, and he was so proud of it. And you know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
He posted the picture of this mount. He was like, and it was a real nice fish that he caught, the actual fish. This mount, I swear to God, Bob, maybe you've seen this. It looked like a different species painted like a blackfish.
It looked like a sea bass that was painted like a blackfish.
That's not good. That's not good.
Maybe a porgy or a sheep's head or
something. I thought it looked kind of like a smallmouth bass. It looked like they took a smallmouth bass and added some like clay to the head to make it like bigger, and then just like painted it like a blackfish. It looked so bad.
I'm doing a blackfish for a guy, and he actually sent me a photo of just the head and Jay Leno, because he told me it has a Jay Leno jaw on it.
Yeah.
It's hysterical. So that's going to be a TikTok video right there. You know, so I'm excited about working on that piece there.
It wasn't Frank Mahalik that sent you that, was it?
I don't know what the guy's last name is. I don't know. I'll have to double check. I can't remember all the names of the fish.
Nah.
But
all right.
we're going to post a TikTok video. We'll hashtag Jay Leno, celebrity looking fish, and that video should do.
That's great.
Bob, thank you so much for coming on the NJ Multi-Species Podcast. I'm sure you'll be hearing more from us now, and we really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for asking me to be part of it. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely, Bob.
All right, guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Take it easy, Bob.
Now, those fish are awesome. I mean,
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bob does not log off, though. Deuce, we'll help here.
Part out. Deuce is sleeping.
I'm trying to log off.
You just click that red
red button.
Yeah. All right. Deuce got rid of you.
All right. There we go.
No, that's pretty cool, though. Yeah, the price is pretty unbelievable.
I mean,
under 40 inches, $325. It's just a base price. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't, and I don't know what people think listening to us talk. Like, we don't invite people on and say, "Hey, we're gonna help you sell this or that and the other thing," and you give us a little cut of it. Like, that's not what happened. Like, Joe, you met Bob at one of the shows, isn't that right? Or
Saltwater show.
Yeah, met him there.
You know what I was
talking? Thought it'd be cool.
I'll really be honest. I was walking around the show and I was just looking at all the different vendors, and I saw him, and I was like, no one ever interviews a taxidermist. Like, everyone's always talking about other shit. So I was like, maybe this guy would be cool to talk to, and now it was. That was cool.
Yeah, I mean, that was interesting. I mean, if I had TikTok, I'd go on there and check out this out. I'd like to see all the different kind of stuff they did.
If I was rich, I'd have a room in my house that's probably just like every fish replicated. I would love to have every one of them, like every fish possible.
It'd be pretty cool to have in like your man cave or whatever, like every species
that you've
caught. Like the record of each species with like a plaque with the information on it. That'd be a pretty cool. But the biggest thing for me with even a replica fish mount, like I have no interest in killing a fish to have it mounted, really.
That's like become a thing of the past.
Yeah,
I guess people still do it, but like I would never be interested in it again.
Yeah, I think it's kind of fading away. This is the future, and at that price, I mean, I don't know how you can't beat that. But
it's 3 tanks of gas for me. Pretty much.
Yeah, and like the biggest thing for me with the fish, the only reason I'm not ordering more of these is kind of like I don't want to order like, oh, I caught a 45-inch muskie. Let me get it mounted. You keep muskie fishing and you get better at it and you stick with it. You get more consistent. You're gonna beat that fish. Right. And then you're going to, I caught a 49-inch muskie. I mounted the 45. I got the 45 replica made. And now I got to get the 40. Like, I want it. That's why I kind of have in my head a size for each species that if I break it in New Jersey, then I'll want the replica mount of it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Is over 10-pound tog one of those?
Well, I don't know what I mean, lengthwise. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say yes. When I break the double-digit tog, I think I'll probably call Bob and get at that price. Yeah. Because, dude, I paid for my 50-inch muskie, 50 inches on a muskie in New Jersey.
You don't have to tell me. I know.
What?
I know how much it costs. I mean, I've paid for this brown trout was probably $400 10, 15 years ago.
Dude. No, some people listening may not know, and it sounds like you're lowballing it too, dude. I paid $850 for a 50-inch muskie.
Well, that's 50.
Huh?
This brown trout's only 21 inches. That's a 50-incher.
Yeah, 50. And this guy gave me a hell of a deal because of my buddy. Because I called a couple other guys, and not only did I have to, and this is also for a replica mount, a replica 50-inch muskie. The second best quote that I got, because I didn't just take this guy up on it. The second best quote that I had was a year and like almost $1,200. So this guy did it in 6 or 7 months for $850, and that's what I did. Bob can do Katie's 45-inch Tiger Muskie for $350. Sold.
It's a good deal. It's cool. All right, we have to move on for that because I have to go to bed. But if you're watching this, it's probably 12 o'clock noon on Friday, unless Deuce screwed it up. If he didn't, that means that the Brandon Szymanski cooler for his brother Tyler Szymanski unfortunately passed away while we were off. There's a GoFundMe for a high school scholarship that's been started in his memory, and we are raffling off a Yeti Hall. It's a really nice Yeti with wheels. It's $20 a ticket. All the proceeds are going to get donated to that scholarship for our friend Brandon and his family. So if it's Friday, you still have until 8 p.m. tonight. You could Venmo me. It's all over the pages, so you could find it anywhere pretty much.
If it's after 8 p.m. on Friday, then you're screwed for the Yeti cooler this time. But he does still have a GoFundMe if you'd like to donate a little bit. Every little bit is appreciated and matters. So that's...
and I thought it's cool because, like, donating to a GoFundMe, of course, is great because you're helping somebody out. But why not, if you're going to donate, why not take a shot at winning something? So
yeah,
the money's going to go to the GoFundMe anyway, but you're going to have a chance to win a Yeti cooler. So to me, it's just more of a funner way to do it. So why not? It's the same shit anyway. So yeah, if you can, we'd appreciate that. Please get in on the cooler. What else, Chris? Who's the guest next week?
Next week we got Roger I. Yeah, I hope I'm saying his name right. His
Roger I.
What did I say? I.
Pukey Lukey's gonna love him.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk to Roger about fluke fishing, but not just fluke fishing in general, specifically shallow water, like from the shore, like fluke fishing, like oceanside.
He's a very specific fluke. The way he fluke fishes, it's going to be cool. If you're a land-based fisherman, this guy he writes and does a lot of things based off land-based fishing, especially on light tackle.
And he actually has like video lessons that you can pay for and watch, like very detailed like lessons, almost like you're going to a virtual class to learn how to do this. And you and I got to take a look at it before the episode. I've been meaning to do it. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I'm going to take a look at that stuff and see, but it sounds really interesting. And
I've seen some of I've seen his free stuff. I've never seen the paid for stuff, but because I don't really fish from shore that much. But
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that at least some of the tactics or tips can also be either directly or in a modified form, like transferred into boat fishing for walleye. I'm just saying.
Walleye?
I'm sorry, fluke. Walleye. I don't know. I got walleye on my mind now.
Why is he thinking about walleye?
I don't know.
How do you confuse a fluke with a walleye? That's
I don't know. It's starting to get like less light out. Like,
all right, Chris has gone senile, so we're gonna end this. Obviously, he has some sort of striped bass poisoning. We will be back next week. That's it. Cut us, Deuce.
All right, we're done. Oh wait, hold on. And suffer for the fish.
Suffer for the fish.